Welcome to our channel. Today we are going to tell you top 10 rarest animal in the world. There are bound to be some unusual animals you've never heard of among the estimated 10-14 million species on the planet. The smallest creatures are usually the most endangered, with a slim chance of extinction. Humans have harmed, depleted, and destroyed ecosystems all over the world for millennia, and habitat degradation is accelerating. Poaching and climate change are two other major contributors to the ongoing extinction of species around the world. This article will look at the 10 most endangered animals on the planet that still exist in the wild. All of the world's rarest animals are critically endangered and must be saved immediately, or they will perish forever. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon. Number 10. Gorillas. Gorillas are fascinating creatures that share 98.3% of our DNA. They can feel emotions like we do and even act like us at times. Did you know they can laugh? There are two species of gorillas, the eastern and western gorillas, each with two subspecies. According to the IUCN Red List of Threatened Species, 3 of the 4 are critically endangered. The only exception is the mountain gorilla, a subspecies of the eastern gorilla that is listed as endangered. There are only about 150 to 180 adult cross-river gorillas left in the wild. Poaching, habitat loss, disease, and human conflict are all factors contributing to the extinction of these animals. Gorillas recover slowly because they have a low reproductive rate, which means females only give birth every 4 to 6 years. In her lifetime, a female will breed 3 or 4 times. In 2005, gorillas were seen for the first time in the wild using simple tools to perform tasks. They were seen using sticks to test the depth of muddy water and to navigate swampy areas. Number 9. Rhinos. Rhinoceros is derived from the Greek words rhino and ceros, which mean nose horn in English. Don't you think it's a great name? Unfortunately, poaching for their distinctive horns is their most serious threat. They are used in traditional Chinese medicine and are displayed as a status symbol and a display of wealth. They are so valuable that a kilogram of Jovan rhino horn can fetch up to $30,000 on the black market. As a result, 3 of the 5 rhinoceros species are among the most endangered in the world: the black rhino, the Jovan rhino, and the Sumatran rhino. The Jovan rhino is the most endangered, with only 46 to 66 individuals remaining in Indonesia's Ujung Kulon National Park. While the range is not as large as it once was, 3 subspecies live in different parts of eastern and southern Africa, including Kenya, Tanzania, Namibia, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. Because they are vegetarians, black rhinos prefer areas with plenty of vegetation and access to water, such as savannas, woodlands, forests, and wetlands. Black rhino horns have medicinal properties and are used in traditional Chinese medicine. They are also collected as a status and wealth symbol. Black rhinos have been hunted to near extinction by illegal poachers due to high demand. Conservation efforts and a crackdown on poaching are helping, and populations are slowly recovering, but more work is needed to ensure the future of black rhinos. Number 8. Sea turtles. Sea turtles are the next species on our endangered list. The IUCN Red List of Threatened Species lists 2 sea turtle species as critically endangered: hawksbill turtles and Kemp's Ridley turtles. Leatherback sea turtles are classified as vulnerable, despite the fact that their population is declining and several subpopulations are on the verge of extinction. Poachers target sea turtle eggs, shells, meat, and skin, making hunting one of the most serious threats to the species. They are also threatened by habitat loss, bycatch, pollution, and climate change. In warmer temperatures, the sand temperature determines the sex of hatchlings, with eggs developing as females. That means that even minor temperature changes can skew population sex ratios. Furthermore, as sea levels rise, breeding beaches may become submerged. Number 7. Saola. The Saola is one of the most endangered large mammals on the planet. It was discovered in the Annamite Range of Vietnam in 1992, and was hailed as one of the most spectacular zoological discoveries of the 20th century. The Saola is so elusive and rare that it's nicknamed the Asian unicorn. Population estimates are difficult to come by, but it is considered critically endangered and one of the rarest large terrestrial mammals on the planet. Number 6. North Atlantic right whale. The North Atlantic right whale got its name from whalers. They are gentle giants that stay close to the coast and spend a lot of time at the surface skim feeding on zooplankton, making them an easy target and the right whale to hunt. They were nearly wiped out by hunters seeking their meat and oil-rich blubber, and are now one of the most endangered large whales. There are only about 400 of them left, and only about 100 of them are breeding females. Although they are now protected and hunting is prohibited, population recovery is slow. Females don't breed for the first 10 years of their life and then will give birth to a single calf every 6 to 10 years. They are still on the endangered list, with boat strikes and entanglement in fishing gear being two of the most serious threats. Noise from vessel traffic also interferes with their ability to communicate. Whales use sound to find mates, find food, and avoid predators, as well as to navigate and communicate with one another. It truly is a necessary sense. Finally, climate change and changing sea temperatures may impact food availability, affecting survival and reproductive rates. Number 5. Tooth-billed pigeon. Tooth-billed pigeons are disappearing at an alarming rate, following in the footsteps of their extinct relative, the dodo. They can only be found on Samoa, and there are only about 70 to 380 of them left in the wild, with no captive populations to help with conservation efforts. There is very little known about tooth-billed pigeons. They are elusive and rarely seen. Hunting has historically played a significant role in their extinction, killing thousands of people. Although it is now illegal, tooth-billed pigeons are still killed accidentally during other species hunts. One of their main threats right now is habitat loss. Large areas of their home have been cleared to make way for agriculture, cyclones have destroyed it, or invasive trees have taken over. They are also vulnerable to predation from invasive species, such as feral cats. Number 4. Gharial. Gharials are Indian fish-eating crocodiles. They have long, thin snouts with a large bump on the end that resembles a gara pot, from which they get their name. They spend the majority of their time in freshwater rivers, only leaving to sunbathe and lay eggs. Unfortunately, gharial numbers have been declining since the 1930s, and this large crocodilian is now on the verge of extinction. There are only about 100 to 300 remaining in the wild. Their decline is the result of several factors, all of which are man-made. Some of the most serious threats are habitat loss, pollution, and entanglement in fishing nets, as well as poachers who target them for use in traditional medicine. Number 3. Kakapo. Kakapos are nocturnal ground-dwelling parrots native to New Zealand, and they are yet another example of an animal driven to extinction by humans. They are critically endangered, with only about 140 individuals left, each with their own name. They were once widespread in New Zealand and Polynesia, but now only live on 2 small islands off the coast of southern New Zealand. Predation from introduced species such as cats and stoats that hunt using scent is one of the most serious threats to kakapos. When threatened, a kakapo's natural reaction is to freeze and blend in with the background. It is effective against predators who hunt by sight but not by smell. Females also leave the nest unattended when they go in search of food, leaving the eggs vulnerable to predators. Intensive conservation measures have resulted in an increase in population, which is a good thing. However, genetic diversity among the remaining kakapo is low, which could affect survival in the future, especially if they are infected with a disease. Number 2. Amur leopard. Unfortunately, Amur leopards are among the most rare species big cats on the planet. They are listed as critically endangered on the IUCN Red List of Threatened Species, and there were only about 92 Amur leopards left in their natural range between 2014 and 2015. This figure is now thought to be less than 70. Amur leopards live in the Amur Hailong landscape, which stretches across Russia's far east and into China. This rare leopard subspecies has adapted to life in the temperate forests that make up the species' northernmost range. Leopards are mostly silent, but they occasionally give hoarse, rasping coughs to announce their presence or territorial boundaries. While feeding, some leopards purr. Like all species on our endangered list, humans are their biggest threat. Their beautiful coats, as well as their bones, are sought after by poachers for use in traditional Asian medicine. They are also threatened by habitat loss, which is primarily caused by natural and man-made fires. Climate change is also altering Amur leopard habitat and reducing prey availability. Number 1. Vaquita. The vaquita is the world's smallest and most endangered marine mammal. The IUCN has listed it as critically endangered since 1996, and there were only about 6 to 22 vaquitas left in 2018. The latest estimate, from July 2019, suggests there are currently only 9. The illegal fishing of totoabar, a large fish prized for its swim bladder, is their greatest threat. Vaquitas become entangled in totoabar gill nets and drown because they can no longer swim to the surface to breathe. Conservation efforts resulted in the implementation of a gill net ban in vaquita habitat in July 2016, but illegal fishing continues, and the threat remains. Efforts are now focusing on enforcing the gill net ban and prosecuting those who use them. Conservationists are also attempting to reduce demand for totoabar, a protected species. All of these animals are on the threat of extinction, and saving some of them may be too late. Because of severely fragmented populations and a dwindling number of mature adults, preserving these species in the wild is a huge challenge. The majority of these species have a small or non-existent population in captivity. For all of these reasons, it is more important than ever to understand the threats that some of the world's most endangered species face, and what we might be able to do to help them. Thank you for watching the video.